decide to watch this. I know it's been a little over a week, but like I said, the scheduling after a vacation usually gets a little wonky, so I hope that you're bearing with me, and if you are, I thank you. I also thank you for all your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscribes, everything, because without you, the channel is not possible, and I am talking directly to you. Alright, so, I know that you probably have a very, very busy Wednesday, and I want to go ahead and get this thing done for you, and that way, I don't take up too much of your time. I do, however, have to say that we're using the Viking Oracle, we're using the Uncommon Tarot, we're using the Sacred Light Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle, and of course a very nice deck of runes. And I hope that you'll stick around to see what we have in store for this week, for you, for me, and for everyone around. Also, this Saturday we'll be talking to Dr. Ian Slater, who has published, finally, the first of 3 books. The Vakashal Spell Book, which is a supplement for AD&D. That's Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition, which is still available, or you can even use it for Osric. So it's a really nice big book of spells for your magic user for your D&D games. And you know what? I think what we're going to do is we're going to do it just like we did last time. And we're going to do this the way I used to do it back when I first started. So we'll just do 3 tarot cards. We'll do 3 oracle cards, and then we'll do 3 runes. How about that? Kind of get a clear picture. And by the way, if I sound a little funny, it's because my sinuses have been absolutely messing with me. So I hope that you will continue to bear with me on this, because dealing with sinus issues is not fun, and it's not easy. So, and also share these videos out with someone who may need them. You never know. Someone in your life may need the advice. But I want everyone here to keep in mind that at the end of the day, the cards are not telling you that you have no agency. You need to be the ultimate in decision making here. Okay? So, getting right down to it, we're going to start with our significator. That's you, me, everyone around. Who are we this week? So, the Sunstone. We're going to have to start showing people our true north. Which directions to go. This is where you get to be the person who also gives advice. And this is where you draw on experience. You're going to have to cut through the fog. And goodness knows, with the amount of news coming in lately, up to the nanosecond, in full 4K, everything just bombarding you, 24/7, 365, just fear porn cycles. Guess what? We're going to have to start cutting through that. That means we're going to have to take a step back, be very patient, and we're going to have to start waiting for all the facts to come in. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I've been pushing a lot for lately is some kind of meditation. You don't have to get on the floor and, sit in the lotus position to do this. Unless you can. If you can and that's what's comfortable for you, do it. What we all need to do, myself included, I've been trying this lately, is just get comfortable in a very quiet room and breathe for 10 minutes. Most of you have one of these on, and one of these will actually have a setting that will induce breathing in order to reduce your stress. Use it. You have the technology and the capability. Use it. Focus. Get your mind calm, because when you're thinking clearly, you can cut through all the bullshit. You can be bombarded 24/7 and you can be like, okay, cut through it, because that's what the Sunstone did. It helped to cut through fog to find the sun, and that way A position could be triangulated. You know which direction you're heading, and you know which direction you need to turn in, if anything, or if you're on the right course. That's what we need to be. We need to be that Sunstone because we are being guided by Fenrir. Now, this Fenrir, this is not the card that you think it is. We've seen this card before, but here's a little something I want to bring up. Going back to the Eddas again, because I do that every once in a while, I noticed something. Fenrir really wasn't given the chance that I think he needed. He tried his best to live with the gods. Tyr was the one that gave him all the benefit of the doubt. Odin would not. Odin kept playing these little games with him. Try to break out of this. Try to break out of that. Try to break out of this one. Ooh, let's try this one. And then he put him under a restriction that was untenable. And Tyr helped. Now, let me put something in front of you. See, we're not trying to lionize Fenrir. We know Fenrir is a force of entropy. We know that he has a lot of vengeance in him. And right now, if that's what you're thinking, if you're carrying that around, you need to know something. If you never give the other person that you think did wrong any space to really improve on their own, without you hammering them constantly, they never will. There's a thing about self-fulfilling prophecy in here, ladies and gentlemen. Self-fulfilling prophecy, what that does is, you're expecting someone to be a fuck-up, a constant fuck-up, a constant screw-up, and guess what? Eventually, they'll be like, well, that's what they want, and you must want it, because that's all you've ever assigned to me. When I lived down south, that's exactly what happened to me. And that's exactly what I did. I just gave people what they expected. Because after a while, there was nothing I could do that proved anything to these idiots. That's what they wanted, so that's what I gave them. Now, did that mean that I was actually what they said I was? No. Absolutely not. To this day, there are people still throwing accusations at me. Baseless ones. Know yourself. Stop carrying around all the anger. You've got to give that other person in your life a chance to improve. If you can kind of map it out for them, but if they don't choose it, you're going to have to do the right thing and walk away. You're going to have to be your own sunstone for a while. You're going to have to cut through your own crap. But if you're going to constantly assign that meaning to them, then guess what? No matter what they do or try, that's what's going to happen. As Odin is the cause of his own downfall, no matter how he tried to stave it off, and he really did too much, that's exactly what we do sometimes. And it's time for us to knock it off. Keep calling someone a Nazi, keep calling someone a bigot, keep calling someone some Istanphobe, and eventually, when they find out nothing they do is good enough for you, they will do nothing. Always keep that in mind. So, going on with our spirit animal, we do have an owl. And here's the thing, you've got to be able to use that clear sight. This is where we're being told, don't see what you just want to see. You have to see things for what they are. And you have to have a clear mind and a clear sense of vision in order to get that. So treat yourself well, get yourself into calmer states, eat well, and watch that brain fog lift. Okay? So for the tarot, I'm turning over reversals left and right here. Holy crap. So, I've got an Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Seems like right now you could be causing your own downfall. Remember what I said about self-fulfilling prophecy here. And when you keep having that, you're going to miss opportunities, you're going to have false starts, and your focus is on the wrong thing. Because right now you could be focused on wealth instead of seeing the opportunities in front of you. It's good to keep your eye on the prize, but if you really don't take care of yourself, if you don't look up every once in a while, you're going to miss things. What was it Ferris Bueller said, life is short, and if you don't look up every once in a while and stop to smell the roses, it could pass you by. And I'm looking at that coming from a sense of entitlement and laziness with this 8 of coins in reverse. Because you're not putting in that work. And when you don't put in that work, when you're not focused on the right thing, a lot of heartbreak. Right? Right now I'm seeing a warning, but here, with the Sacred Light Oracle, we're about to find out how we can turn that around. And already this is as predictable as it gets. So with the divine creation, we're looking at our commitments that we've made. We're looking at acceptance of certain things. I've seen this a lot, that things are going to turn around. We saw this last week. Last week we were looking at don't give up, keep pushing. Don't be so ready to throw in the towel just yet. And we're still getting that message. That's not going away. It's still only a few feet to the finish line, and you really have to work for it. Because right now, you do have that, those commitments are leading right here. And with that universal Merkaba, you have a sacred purpose. But the question is, are you fulfilling it? You already have the answers you need. Look no further. Because they're right there in front of you. Now, we all know about light body with independence. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, I really need a ton of money to be independent. Well, not really. Because your own independence, even though it's a lonely road, sometimes it can bring a lot of comfort. Your past restrictions, that's what they are. They're the past. What I'm looking at right now is you need to give yourself a little credit too. Stop being so rough on yourself. I hear people all the time, oh no, you need to be harder on yourself. You need to drive yourself forward. You could drive yourself crazy by being too hard on yourself. If you miss an opportunity, you miss it. Look for the next one. Make your own. It's okay to make your own. It's okay to be self-critical, but it's not a good idea to keep beating the hell out of yourself, because eventually you'll talk yourself out into just giving up. Like, oh, this isn't meant for me. Wrong. And finally, with the runes, I've got Wunyo, I've got Kanaz, and I've got Gabo. So starting with this, I mean, come on. You know as well as I do that your own joys in life, those victories, those raised flags, claiming your territory and things like that, that is all going to be you. But you do have people around you whom will support you. Let me put it to you this way. Right now, as much as we need to give other people space to improve, we need to give ourselves space to improve, and there are people who will do that. We always talk about the real ones know, the real ones do this, the real ones do that. Focus on those real ones. When those real ones point something out to you, it's probably a good idea to at least look into it. Also, Kanaz. Remember, right now we're that sunstone in search of a light so we can tell where we are. The sun, the beacon, everything is all about this. When I tell you to do these meditations, when I tell you that getting that calm state, it's going to release something in your mind that will wake you up and say, you know what? I think I figured out what the problem is. And if you know what the problem is, You can fix it, can't you? Sure you can. Because you already have everything you need at your disposal to do it. You just got to think it through, and you need to get yourself calm in order to do that. Want to know how I know that? Because that's what I've been doing. Focus on those gifts, those talents and abilities that you know are there, and develop them. Because we all know what we're born with and how we're going to deal with that. Get with them. Use them, leverage them, take advantage of them. You never truly know where it can lead you until you do it. And you really should. Because right now, having that clarity of vision is going to be everything. So meditate and let go of the anger. Life is entirely too short to stay angry. I actually had someone angry at me over a comic book that I bought, read, and enjoyed. And they began to act like a child. Now, I gave that person every opportunity to lay off, stop doing it. And they just couldn't. So, the way I figured it, well, I see I'm bothering that person. And I let that person go. Cut them out. He also accused me of just being an advertiser, because I tend to talk more about the things that I like versus the things that I don't. Why would I do something like that? Because life is too short to stay angry. All you ever need to do is look at a few of these people that want to rail against everything. They're never happy. Everything they have such high standards, no one could ever live up to them. Are we going to be that? I hope not, because that's a pretty miserable world to live in. And when you have such high and exacting standards that no one will ever live up to them, and that high and exacting watermark is you always, you're never going to be happy either. Now, I hope that comes through, because I know someone out there really needs to hear that. And I would hope that eventually you turn more into what you love than turn into the very thing that you claim you don't. Too many people right now walking around with a lot of anger, becoming the very thing that they claim to despise. What are you going to be today? What are you going to be this week? That's a decision you have to make. That's a decision I have to make. It's a decision we all have to make. And there are no exceptions to that. Alright. Thank you again for being here. Thank you again for joining me. Just remember, I love you all. I really do. And I don't get to say it enough, but today I get to. And that makes me happy, and I'm thankful for it. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I want you to always talk about, think about what lights you up the most. And as always, I want you to shine on. Have a great week, everyone.